Nothing's really changed for me because my production is so low. I mean, it's not even been a blip on my radar.
Really?
I only produce 2 boards a week. And so I'm booked out a long ways ahead. You know, it doesn't take that many boards to get booked out 6 months, 50 boards, and you're out there 6 months.
Yeah.
But I see blood in the streets everywhere I go, man. Everybody I talk to. This boom was because of COVID. That's no secret. But anybody who used COVID as a business model just got beat up because it was not going to last. The free money from the government, the staying at home from work and have nothing to do but go to the beach. There was no structured sports at school for kids, so everybody went surfing. So, I mean, as long as you stayed the course, I know it's hard to do that in the surf industry because it's either feast or famine. Yeah. If people want 100 boards from you, your knee-jerk reaction is, I got to build these 100 boards at any way I can. Yeah. However, I didn't, but I was okay. But again, my production is so low, it's so inconsequential. But I think, and also I noticed that there was a lot of people that came into the business during that. A lot of people making their own label. Everybody wanted to build their own surfboard because the glass shops I was working at, they
Got
had
guard dogs are activated.
Those crazy dogs.
They sound vicious, actually.
Right?
They do. The glass
I
shops.
saw boards coming through there with names I didn't recognize, and that's natural progression because if you think back to '72, that was kind of where most of all of us my age got started, was in the backyard. And it really the big producers, Weber, Bing, I mean, pick one, they couldn't slow the machine down fast enough, and everybody went. A lot of people went to the backyard and it's kind of just a whole new thing, you know. Well, 50 years later.
I hadn't even thought about that segment of the market as it relates to COVID, but you're right. If everybody has time off, then they want to try something new, starting shipping surfboards, and you can buy blanks and all the materials now easy. Right. You can even get the board cut.
You can get it glassed with a quality color glass job.
Yeah.
That really makes it tough and we've discussed this many times. If all the groovy glass shops go away and the machine goes away, I'm still got a business. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is fortunate like I am to have learned it from the ground up to where I can sand better than probably most of the sanders who have worked with me through the years, and all of it. But with that being said, you don't have to have any real skill to build surfboards right now. You, like you said, you can go get a cut. Yeah. They have files. You want this? Bam, there it is.
Right.
Scrub it out. 30 minutes later, take it to a groovy glass shop, and you're in business, man.
Yeah. Well, probably not much of a business, but you can certainly build boards, and that cuts into other board builders.
You'd be surprised how easy it is to start a business just with your friends. You build one board, and you hand it off to a friend. They ride it, and then they'll hand it off to a friend. Then their friend wants one. And because I found through my career that people want to come to the guy. They don't want to call a phone number and talk to a 16-year-old kid about any label. They want to talk to the guy.
Yeah.
And I made a career out of that of repeat business, that people were able to reach me on the phone.
Yeah.
And I talked to them. But again, my business was never, through my whole career, I mean, at one time we were doing 1,500 boards a year. We had 6 employees, and I had this saying that don't build more boards in the morning than your employees can screw up in the afternoon. And it was true. I ended up fixing more stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because at that time when I was building that amount of boards, I was the Blue Hawaii licensee. I was the Dewey Weber licensee. I was building my own country labels. I was building the Bear label with Randy Rarick. And these were all high-end boards.
Yeah.
There was no, in the late 80s, early 90s, there wasn't a lot of glass shops doing color work, lap color work. Mm-hmm. It was mostly airbrush or clear.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard to train people at that level. You know, the best time to train somebody was in the 90s. The 6-foot sand finishes. You could screw those things up and you couldn't make enough of them.
Right.
If that was your market.
Right.
But at least people got used to working with the resin and the at least that's where I saw it. I tried to bring people in and show them how I do it and it just never really took. I'm more really type A to where I can't count on my hand how many times somebody would tell me it's just a surfboard. Well, that's true, but not really. It's my baby that I've brought to life that I want a certain way. And if you can't help me do that, then there's another shop right down the street you can go find a job at. I'm positive.
Do you what's it like now? What's the labor market like now for people coming up? I mean, obviously we're talking about people who are coming up that want to shortcut everything and get the board cut and just have their name on a surfboard. But are there actual people coming up wanting to learn the craft itself to kind of backfill all the people who are retiring or getting out of the business?
I don't have that. I don't see that because I'm not around it, or I work in Oceanside. I watch guys like Michael Takayama just blow my mind with his work. That guy has got some real talent. He does some color work and pen lines that I just shake my head going, man, you don't want to do anything other than pen line for 2 days because that's what it takes to do that.
Crazy.
And
I see him on Instagram. His boards are insane.
His boards are incredible.
Yeah.
And obviously they work well because he wouldn't have... Surfboards is a repeat business. If your boards don't work, you're not going to be in business more than 5 years.
Yeah.
You're going to be gone. But to continue with that, Wes Holderman's down there. I look at these guys, they're all doing color work. And it's really good. Mm-hmm. And all of them, Tim Crozier, all of them, and that's just in my little area down there. And I know the guys at Waterman's and Moonlight and places like that. Yeah, everybody's doing color work. Mangelli, especially. Let me back up for a second. John Mangelli is the modern day Gary Stuber in my eyes. Really? I always considered Gary absolutely the top of the heap as far as mixing colors and hitting those colors every time, and the cut laps were perfect. John Mangelli is that guy.
Really?
Yeah. He can make the colors perfect every time. And cut lap. I worked over there for, I think, 10 months with him. And what a class act. I'll tell you, anybody, and I don't do this for anybody, but anybody looking for a quality glass job, John Mangelli is right there at the top of the heap as far as color work. It's a hats off to him. I wish I could still do that.
Well, that's why I asked you the question though of like who's coming up is because
these guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know how hard it is to train somebody nowadays to do that. I mean, that's got to be a tough deal.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it comes down to what does a job pay? You know, like when a kid comes out of high school or college and they have different career options, mm-hmm. money is a part of that. And so very few people are going to do it for passion without a paycheck. And so board pricing is really what needs to adjust in order to justify to entice people to get into the business. Yeah. And so like I understand the people who want to be Instagram famous and just have their name on the board, like that is a vanity project that maybe it doesn't translate into an actual business. Mm-hmm. But if we want to have kids doing the color work that you're talking about, or the next generation of people doing that in America, you know, like where a lot of this was pioneered in California, actually, then boards probably need to be priced $2,500, you know?
They do. And some of them are. Dane Peterson's another one out of that factory over there. Class act.
Yeah.
No, it pays garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone over this. I got paid $10 to sand a board in 1974. And I had a house on the North Shore for $350 a month.
What does that job pay now?
Probably less than 30 or maybe 30 or I don't know.
Okay.
But that house on the North Shore doesn't exist.
Right.
If it did, it'd be $5,000 or $10,000 a month now.
For sure.
But my point is that you can only charge what people will pay and what your name will carry.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some glass shops that don't charge enough. I heard recently there was some rumblings about people raising their prices during COVID, and now people are unhappy about it. Well, probably the people who are unhappy about it have an office job where they make $400,000 a year and have a private secretary. So they're not standing on their feet all day, sucking in, styrene martinis and on your feet for 10 hours trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And so is it really too expensive? No. Come on. I'll walk around with me for fucking 8 hours in the glass when I'm laminating and then tell me I'm overpaid.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would tell you, but it is what you said. It's whatever the market will bear.
Sure.
And during COVID, when everybody had more work than they could do, prices, I think, did go up for certainly like the premium quality products I saw.
Yeah.
So are those people going to maintain that price level as things go through the dip is really the question, or will they lower price to try to get a tiny bit of market share back?
Well, there might be a dip in the economy. There's no dip in the oil. And resin is a product of the oil companies. And so materials aren't coming down. So where are we going to trim the fat?
Right.
We're going to take it out of the guy's pocket?
Right.